Welcome back to Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago on CTV and Talk City 91.1 FM. Labor Day is on June 19th, but there are some events taking place before that, being hosted by the OWTU and also CTV. You know, we want to be part of everything because we believe in educating our youth and giving them the information that they need for the future. We have with us this morning Mr. Ozzy Warwick, the Education Officer and Research Officer for the Oilfields Workers Trade Union. We are going to talk about the OWTU's Labor Day Primary Schools Competition. Now, it's a quiz competition and a poster competition.
That is correct. And thank you for having me here this morning. We consider the primary school quiz and poster competition as a major item, a major activity leading up to Labor Day. Why we felt it important to have this competition is because we felt that there's a major gap in terms of the students, primary school in particular, in terms of what is taught about Labor Day and about the events leading up to Labor Day and the contribution of those our foreparents who would have struggled in that period. As a result of that, we felt it necessary to play our role in terms of educating our young people about Labor Day, the significance of it, but also those who would have contributed to it. And for that reason, we would have started this initiative. Now, this is the 4th year, so we've been doing this actually for a very, very long time. In fact, we've been doing this so long, 40 years, that a few years ago, one of the teachers who accompanied the students was able to say that he was back when he was a student participating in the competition. That's just to tell you the long tradition that we've had with this competition. This year, Rishi, we decided that we have for the theme celebrating our heroes and their contribution to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. And here's why we went with that theme this year. We felt that over the last this year actually, the last few months and so on, there's been a real sense of uncertainty, a lot of frustration being felt in the air. A lot of students would have seen their parents go home. And so we felt, no, we wanted to do something that created hope, that says, listen, we are resilient people, and we have made significant contributions to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. And as young people, you can be that hero too. And so for the poster competition, we had as a sub-theme, the hero in me and my vision for Trinidad and Tobago. So therefore, in spite of the uncertainty being created by those in authority, we felt that, you know what, for our young people, we want to give them a sense of hope, a sense that they can make a significant contribution to Trinidad and Tobago, and it is built on a legacy. And this is why we have the competition. Now, as we prepare these students for the competition, and this is in the St. Patrick County as well as the Victoria County, down in the deep south, as we say, to prepare them, we give them 2 pieces of material. One would have been the history of OWTU from back then, 1937 to present, but also we give them an additional material which looked at heroes, other heroes. So, for example, in literature, we had C.L.R. James and V.S. Naipaul. In culture, we had Rodney Childs. We had as well Sparrow. We also had contemporary heroes like Angelo Bissessa Singh and Chantal Ince. In sports, we had Brian Lara. Why did we do this? It is again to show that these are our heroes. These are people we can look up to. But also, we wanted to tie it into that feeling that I too can be a hero. I too can make a contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what we felt this year's quiz and poster competition. We wanted to engender education, but also a sense of hope for our young people.
Did you see that?
Yes, because we started the quiz on the 29th of May.
Yes.
That was the preliminary rounds. We had quite a number of schools participating. We had over 30 schools participating from that area. And what was very interesting is to, before we start, I would walk around and talk to the students, and to see these students so excited, having learned about Butler, having learned about what Labor Day was about, having learned about the struggles, and also having learned about the other contemporary heroes, I saw in them a sense of pride and a feeling of a positive enthusiasm. And it felt good that as a labor movement we could have made that contribution to these young people, something they will take with them for the rest of their life. The poster aspect of it, which focused on the theme, the hero in me and my vision for Trinidad and Tobago, we have the results already.
Yeah, and I know that you will be willing to share at least the top 5 places.
I would like to share the top 5 places. So coming in at 5th place, we had Jennifer Mohammed from Egypt Village Government Primary School. 4th place, we had Jenica Rangu coming in from South Oropouche Government. Then in 3rd place, we had Nabia Ali from San Fernando TML Primary. Coming in at 2nd place, Jordan Jagai from Inverness Presbyterian Primary. And first place poster winner is Crystal B. Harilal from San Fernando Astor Primaries. And some of these schools are also participating in the quiz. You know, let me just point out a quick little fun fact. I do not know if you remember Caitlin Broker. This was 2 years ago. She came first in SCA, and Michael Bipat came second.
Yes.
And that year, they both participated in our quiz competition.
So you see, it gives them the confidence to probably do that as well. That probably had an impact on that as well.
Yes, I think it does. I think it really, speaking to the teachers, and I really want to thank the teachers who support this activity over these years. You know, the teachers always describe how the students are so excited to learn these things, because it's not really part of the school curriculum, which is so unfortunate, because we are building a society, and you're building a society on something. It has to be built on some kind of foundation. And we should be proud of the foundation upon which we are building the society, because those persons who would have sacrificed, they did so selflessly. They did so with an idea and a vision for Trinidad and Tobago, where all have an opportunity to benefit from the natural resources of the country. So I think we feel very good about this competition this year. We had the quarterfinals on Wednesday, the 6th of June, and the semifinals and finals will take place next week, Wednesday, and that will be on the 13th of June. And let me just say, the semifinalist schools that came in, who went through the preliminary rounds, first round quarterfinals, second round quarterfinals, are Debe Hindu Primary, San Fernando Astor Primary, San Fernando TML, and Barrackpore Vedic Primary. Now, in San Fernando TML has won several years, so I know there's going to be a tough competition come the 13th of June to unseat them. But the students are very well prepared in all who participated in the competition throughout, from the preliminary rounds all the way up. And I really want to congratulate all the schools and all those students who would have participated in the competition. Yeah,
and CNMG CTV is part of that as well, where it will be recorded and rebroadcast.
That is correct. We're happy to partner with CNMG this year to have this activity rebroadcast. The semifinals will be rebroadcast on the 7th of July, and the finals will be rebroadcast on the 14th of July. It is important, you know, Rishi, so that other students can also learn from this activity, so that it's not just the students who participated, because the way I believe the production will run is that the questions will be on the screen. So it'll be a really good learning opportunity for students, not just students,
actually, but for adults as well.
A lot of adults. Yeah. We have so many adults, including politicians, who seem to not remember the legacy of labor in this country.
Okay, so you're looking at it from the youth perspective. You want to create that change in the minds of the young people to look at labor and the history of labor in a different perspective. Now, at the beginning, you said, you know, you want the young people to know what led to Labor Day.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to ask you now, what led to Labor Day?
What led to it was two things. One, the social, economic, and political conditions of the mass of people, which living conditions which would be almost subhuman, working for slave wage, for long, long hours, no access to education, health, housing, and ordinary working people. This is the incredible part of it. It was ordinary working people. Some of them couldn't even read and write, but they had a belief that their conditions needed to change. And therefore, they would, led by Uriah Buzz Butler, of course, decided to challenge the colonial system, decided to challenge the status quo in order to change their living and working conditions. And I believe it is that at a fundamental level, the belief of ordinary working people that they can change the society in which they exist in and recreate that society where they can have a chance, not just for themselves, but for their children and many generations to come. And I think one of the things people seem to forget about Labor Day is that it wasn't just one day. It wasn't just June 19th. June 19th sparked a whole series of events or hostilities, if you wish, which ended on the 6th of July. It was 3 weeks of ordinary working people taking destiny into their own hands. And I think that is a phenomenal achievement, because out of that came the bedrock for independence. Out of that came our right to vote. Out of that came the nationalization of the natural resources. And out of that came this the incredible institution of trade unions. And that is something we should be proud of and should have featured far more in our curriculum than it is today. And it is because of that gap we decided to have this quiz competition starting some 40 years ago.
I asked that because I know that this is a bit of a controversial question, but I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think we have too many holidays in Trinidad and Tobago?
Absolutely not. And I just want to put something straight. The people who are suggesting that, if you notice, of course, mainly business people, and what they say is that it affects productivity, and we absolutely reject that. The only thing it affects is their profit. And in the end, that's what it is, just their profit, their ability to make a huge amount of profit on those days. We work hard. We are, the people here in the studio who ensure that the audience out there can take in and learn and be aware of what's happening in the country. For us to do that meant people leave home 5 o'clock in the morning. We have single moms, single dads who have to get up 3:30 in order to prepare their kids for school, face traffic for 2 hours, and then walk into the workplace, work for 8 hours, face the same thing back. And we do this every single day for not much. We work very, very hard. So we are
holidays. But I think as we go closer to Labor Day, we would have you come back, and these are some of the issues that we would look to address. Mr. Azu Warwick, I would like to thank you very much for coming in and talking with us about the OWTU's Labor Day Primary Schools competition, which is a quiz competition and a poster competition. The poster competition has been completed, and the quiz competition, the semi-finals will be broadcast on CNMG on the 7th of July, and on the 14th of July you would see a rebroadcast of the finals of that competition. And this initiative is to get young people involved and understand where our labor movement came from.
Thank you for having me, and I'll just close by saying in the end, it's all about building on a legacy of hope.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Warwick. This is Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago. We take a break and come back with more.